So you're ready to start coding in Python. But is Python installed on your machine, or do you have to get it separately? If you already have Python set up, then you're good to go. You don't need the instructions in this particular lecture. You might need to know about pip install though, that comes up later. However, if you've never set up Python on your machine, you'll need this lecture to figure out how this is done. We use IPython, a particular flavor of Python, and we use the Anaconda freemium distribution, which is a package management system. So none of these should kind of be daunting or phase you off. Basically, we'll show you step by step how you can install Python with a very good user interface, which IPython gives you, and get going. So we start off with a simple Google search. We simply search for installing Anaconda for a Mac. The computer which I happen to be using is a Mac. So this lecture talks about how to install Python for a Mac. However, even if you're on a Windows machine, the instructions should work in exactly the same way. So do a simple Google search and you'll find that you get the very first hit, or one of the first few hits that you get should be how to install Anaconda, the continuum documentation, etc. So basically select that link and go to the continuum page in order to get the Anaconda freemium distribution of Python. Here we are in the continuum analytics page, and then we basically choose which version of Anaconda for which operating system we want to install. Once again, because we are working on the Mac, we've chosen OS X, but you can see there are a whole bunch of other options. You can choose Linux, Windows, whichever operating system that you use. So let's go ahead and choose the OS X install for now. And then we say download the Anaconda modules. Here, we want to choose the installer. You can say you want Python 2.7, Python 3.4. Now, all the code in this particular series of lectures in this course of Python has been written with Python 2.7. Here the example may show that we are downloading Python 3.4. However, make sure that you download Python 2.7 if you want to be able to run the source code with this series of lectures. So go ahead, choose Python 2.7 and download it. Once the IPython modules from the Anaconda distribution has been downloaded, you need to go ahead and install this. You would do this on your machine just like you would install any other piece of software. Here we found it in our downloads folder, and here is the install dialog, one we are all very familiar with. Go ahead, agree to the terms and conditions. Here it is. We get the agree button and install IPython. It's going to show you an option for whether you want to install on a shared disk or for yourself. We've picked install for ourselves only because we don't really want to share this distribution with anyone. It's for our own personal use. So just pick that, go ahead, hit install and let it do its work. Once IPython installation does its thing, you'll get this happy successful message, and then you go ahead and double click and launch the launcher. On the Mac, it should be on your desktop. It'll be in a familiar place in Windows as well. And notice that the launcher gives you a whole bunch of options. IPython Notebook is what you want, because Notebook is the familiar interface that you've seen we've used in all our examples. It gives you a very easy to use step-by-step Python interface. Choose IPython Notebook and launch it. Hopefully things start getting a little more familiar to you now. It'll set up Notebook. Here all you need to say is new notebook, and there you see the screen that you're familiar with in the examples. That's it. You're now fully set up to code in Python using IPython from the Anaconda distribution. Now, There are a whole bunch of places where we've used different packages in Python, and the way you set up these packages is by using pip install. This is how you set up new libraries. Now, pip install can be used from the terminal, that is directly from the terminal, or from within IPython. Let's just quickly see how we can use pip install from within IPython. In just a few minutes, we'll talk about what pip install is in a little bit of detail. From within IPython, you'll say exclamation pip install and specify the library. In this case, it's the matplotlib that we want, and see, that is installed. And now you can import the packages from matplotlib and use it within your Python code. It's as easy as that. There it is, your first hello world program. You can also rename the notebook and so on. You're now completely set up to write Python programs. So what is pip? What is pip install? This is a tool which comes with Python, especially Python 2.7.9 and all later packages include this tool as a part of the Python distribution. If you happen to be using earlier versions of Python, you might have to install this tool separately. You should be easily able to Google for this how to set up pip and follow instructions and do it very simply. But if you're using Python 2.7.9 or later, pip comes pre-installed along with Python packages, and you can use pip to install other modules or libraries. Pip is just a super easy way to install other people's libraries or modules in Python, so you can reference them from within your Python code. And this is how you'd use it. From within IPython, all you need to say is exclamation pip install xlsx writer. Now, getting other people's libraries might seem daunting. So how do you get it so you can actually call the libraries and get it to work for you? However, pip install makes it extremely simple. All you have to do is run this one command from within your IPython, and it simply sets it up for you. Pip install can obviously be used to install any library or include any library. You just replace the xlsx writer that you see on screen with the name of the library that you're interested in. We just saw a couple of minutes ago an example for the matplotlib library. Now this setup is one-off. You need to do it exactly once. Say you use the matplotlib library in some other Python program, you don't need to run pip install once again in your same, if you're using the same IPython, maybe it's a different notebook. Only the first time you use the library on a particular machine is when you need to run pip install. Pip install can also be run on the terminal of a Mac machine. Or if you've got the terminal of your Windows machine set up right, it can be run on the terminal as well. In that case, you don't need the exclamation mark. You simply say pip install and the name of the library. But using it within IPython is very easy, and that's typically what we tend to do.